This is Cindy Williams Moore. I am the leader of the Michigan Apostolic Prophetic Coalition and the Michigan Watchman, and I am providing you a briefing on the Michigan flooding and the regulatory and infrastructure crisis that we are currently in. Today is April 17th, 2026, and I'm holding up a picture of the report that I did, and I contacted experts and have provided this into governmental leadership regarding the floods, the regulations, and that this is not a federal level issue. This is a state level issue that has been going on since 1956. We lack the right infrastructure and regulations to handle the way we have built within the state and our foundations, and 2,600 dams that exist in the state. 30% of them cannot handle regular spring rainfalls or the snowmelts that we would normally experience. So I'm on here today because the state is calling this for federal funding, and the answer is no. We need to have people understand. Please share this video to help make people aware. This is a regulatory mishap, failure, and also the infrastructure. And we cannot continue going the direction we have and expect that our state will be held up. We're slapping Band-Aids on things that need to be corrected. So this month, the crisis that we have experienced has been the snow melts and the storms that have come through. We did see 9 tornadoes this week fly through the state. The rainfall has been pretty intense, but this is normal for spring. Michigan is under a 33-county emergency flood declaration. Now that might be backing off, but we do have rains coming in through today. The upper part of Michigan on the western side is going to be experiencing the brunt of that. There are F2 tornadoes in Wisconsin, so on another video I will cover the prayer aspect of that. But right now, up in the Upper Peninsula, we also have, I'm looking for the Buck Lake. Alcona County Dam failed, emptying Buck Lake into Lake Houghton in Alcona County. The Boardman River, we have the Sheboygan Dam, and then we have roads flooding out, the M119 culvert, the Tunnel of Trees Highway collapse. And I know there's other roadways that have collapsed, and there's the threat of it. They're designed for normal flows and not combined heavy rain and snow melt and upstream development. Whenever you have upstream development, you're looking at impervious structures or surfaces. So you build when you're building new housing developments, city developments, et cetera, et cetera. Look how much we've changed since 1956. It's a 70-year-old issue, and that's laid out in here. But more importantly are the policies that need to be implemented, like now, moving into the next 10 years. One second. So some of the gaps, I just want to highlight briefly some of the gaps that we are dealing with. One, no runoff standard. Developers add pavement with no requirements to manage the runoff, and large storms flow untreated downstream. So whenever we have storms, water runs downward. Gravity pulls it. So there's fragmented control. There's not a consistency. There's not an agreement. There's not a statewide mandate. Each municipality, guys, that's township, village, cities, counties, etc. There's no watershed coordination. Upstream drains rapidly. Downstream suffer. 1956 Drain Code, which was developed, it's an agricultural law that prioritizes rapid water removement for farms, accelerates runoff, and it overwhelms downstream culverts. Culverts and bridges, just tuck it in your mind, they don't mix. If you don't handle them right, the culverts are going to wash out the roads and the bridges can fail. There's no reassessment. Culverts designed decades ago are not updated when upstream development increases. M119 met the 100-year-old standard of what was required, but it failed. That's because of how much is built, how much is flowing through. That's beyond what was written originally. We have impervious surfaces. Stream degradation accelerates at 25 to 30% in paved areas. Grand Rapids, Detroit, Traverse City are at near thresholds, guys. There's no regulations for limit growth. No watershed governance. Drain commissioners, municipalities, the MDOT, and the EGLE are independent. They do not work together. Citizens Research Council calls them fragmented and inefficient. So why does this matter? Because in April 2026, it was a regulatory fail, not weather. Culvert designed for old conditions, watershed now 50% more developed or paved. Dams are aging. No coordinated management of them. Without statewide runoff standards, watershed governance, and climate-adapted infrastructure, flooding will repeat with greater damage and risk. I will be putting this up on a post so you can read it for yourself, but this 2-page doesn't even touch what is in here. It's important for us to have unbiased and strategic intelligence, and that's how I flow and function. So what are the immediate things? We need to get an inventory of the culverts and the bridges and the dams. There needs to be dam safety assessment. Yes, people own dams and know they don't know how to keep it all up, but basically we're building around the dams without regulating how you handle the runoff. So then you're putting the pressure on those who own the dams for something that the state should have been doing. And we need interim guidance. We need to require culvert replacements that use impervious surface data to recalculate design discharge, not outdated studies. For the next 2 to 5 years, just some of the policy recommendations that are in here: develop statewide runoff standards, reform your drain codes. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine the work, but it's like, guys, for 70 years, this has not been touched. It just blows my mind. And watershed councils need to create governance for major watersheds. Michigan has a lot of underground water besides the Great Lakes that we have and the incredible rivers. I think of the watersheds: the Boardman, the AuSable, the Grand, the Kalamazoo, the Detroit River, etc. Unified standards and coordinated permitting. It's not done statewide. It's not done locally. For the long term, we need to identify dam removals. We need to complete the removal of obsolete dams and replace them with modern culverts and spans. Restore stream connectivity and reduce maintenance burden. The way we're doing it, you're just begging for a disaster, and it's going to cost the state billions of dollars if this is not fixed. I think this project, I believe that it would be about a $4 billion project in order for the state to take this on and make the corrections. Climate adapted standards. I'm not a climate person, but factually that culverts need to be replaced and bridges are failing to meet the projected precipitation. They're at like 110 to 120% of the current 100-year event. So that means they're way past it. But because we're not building wisely, we're not managing our land properly, they will fail. The green infrastructure, transition from gray pipes and ponds to distributed green or rain gardens infiltration. I look at that for my own property. We have to deal with flooding on our own land. So I research in how to handle French drains, how to make my land more pervious, etc., etc. So the bottom line, Michigan faces recurring flooding without coordinated watershed management and statewide standards. Other states have implemented procedures or policies like this successfully. So Michigan can do it. I will make sure to send this to you. I was just reading off of a 2-page thing, MIAPC.org. Go on there and get this study and policy. I've already turned it into key shakers in the state. But we need to make a difference, guys. So please send this out and get the word out. We have got to create change now.